Thank you everyone for joining. I just wanted to say thank you again to Ron and the folks at AngelBeat for inviting SoftServe to participate in today's conference. Ultimately, the goal for me today is to challenge the audience in thinking how your firm can move with the confidence, agility, and speed that, quite frankly, is needed in today's competitive environment and how fast technology moves. So by way of introduction, if I can go to the next slide here.
I think it's just that arrow on the bottom left corner of your screen. Right there, yep.
There we go.
Okay.
Technology. All right. So again, by way of introduction, my name is Mike Sullivan, director here for SoftServe in the U.S. financial services market, our vertical. And let me just first say I apologize for the mugshot that you have to look at here. I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. But 15 years ago, when I was married to my wife, she said, "Be bald to be fat, but don't be both." And I don't have an option here. So as you can see, I'm bald and I try to stay in shape. And it's interesting as you look at what we've tried to do during these COVID times. One of the things that I've loved recently is getting on the Peloton. So that's the one thing that keeps me in shape. And as well, I have two preteen boys that keep me quite busy with their various sporting activities and other endeavors that they have. So from a professional standpoint, I've been with SoftServe for 18 months now. And prior to that, I was with SS&C for about 7 years and have been in the financial services industry for well over 20. So I have a real passion for this side of the business and helping firms through their digital transformation. Quickly through the agenda today, we'll just talk about SoftServe and AWS, why financial services firms need to have scalable platforms, some of the challenges and future solutions, and then as Ron mentioned, a number of case studies. I have two and potentially three, depending upon time, that we'll share with you. So who is SoftServe? Very quickly, you can see some of the numbers here, but we were founded in 1993. We have over 27 years of experience, quite frankly, with cutting edge solutions for clients all over the world. Although we are headquartered in Austin, Texas, we really base ourselves out of Ukraine, as well as Poland, Bulgaria, a number of other hubs, if you will, in the Western European and Eastern European bloc. And quite frankly, we boast a team of diverse backgrounds. Areas of expertise and leadership that consistently deliver results for our clients. And we really take pride in building collaborative relationships because we're committed to treating each other's clients as if it was our own. As Ron mentioned, we have close to 10,000. And really, we're just trying to come up with the latest innovations to solve the business challenges, strengthen your IT infrastructure, and enable sustainable growth. And our expertise is somewhere in the cloud DevOps area, cybersecurity, which I've heard mentioned security a number of times throughout today's presentations. Also big data, AI, ML, Internet of Things, and digital experience platforms. Quite frankly, digital disruption from startups has fundamentally shifted some of the consumer challenges and expectations. So what we try to do is bridge that gap between strategy and technology. And we try to help the leaders of your firms navigate technology through adoption, product development, and transformation. Moving on to our work with AWS. As again, you can see some of the numbers. One of the things that we're very, very proud of at SoftServe is we are an APN Premier Consulting Partner. We have one of only, I believe it's about 200 certified APN ambassadors. So we have one of those on staff who's here to answer questions for any type of projects that we're working on with AWS. And basically, when you look at our history with AWS, we've been partnered since 2014, really putting a strong emphasis on our partnership, though, through the last couple of years, as we have over 400 and almost 500 professionals on track for 2021. Some of those areas might be cloud practitioners, professional development DevOps engineers, security specialties, data and analytics specialties. And then lastly, the one thing that I will mention here is our competencies. So we do have data and analytics, DevOps, healthcare, retail, SaaS, ML and migration, security, energy and life is being worked on. And of course, as we're talking here today, we have a competency in AWS with financial services. And one of the things that we think about when we're working with AWS and thinking of our expertise and AWS's expertise is what is happening today in the financial services arena, right? So you have cloud enablement, you have augmented analytics, digital transformation, of course. You're dealing with customer retention, regulations. What's your internal optimization model looking like? And then, of course, open banking is another big one today. And why is it happening, right? You have new revenue streams, margins are shrinking. It's a saturated market. You have a new wave of customers, quite frankly, and how they think. You have an established old school market distribution model. You have high volume that needs to be delivered in a very short amount of time. And then how do you keep all of that talent growth and engagement pertinent to today's technology? And then lastly, what are the objectives? So again, working with AWS, how do we leverage data to gain insights? What's the future proof of the business? Are you innovation driven? How are you enhancing the customer experiences? And then lastly, and this is the big one, is how do you stay compliant and secure? So with that, I'd like to move on to sort of the topic of today and what we think might be something that is an actionable item, quite frankly. It's the importance of scalable platforms. And if you think about it, infrastructure as code is a key area for organizations to remain lean and agile and to continue down that path, because we know at the end of the day, that's really what you're demanded with. It's an effective DevOps practice for creating and managing infrastructure and in a descriptive model, if you will, by utilizing the modern software development techniques. And it allows you in practice to develop tools to be tested and verified before they're ever integrated into the business critical systems. And as a result, infrastructure as code helps increase business value by decreasing environment, wait times, configuration drift, increasing infrastructure reliability, and some self-service capabilities. Now, I was reading an article fairly recently, and it was discussing, why humans all look so similar, right? So there's about 7 billion of us. Almost all of us have nose in the middle of our faces. We have 10 fingers, 10 toes on our feet. And really, scientists explain this. We're born with this common genetic code, right, which ensures baby after baby is born with the same configuration, generation after generation. And that's one of the things to think about, when you're thinking of infrastructure and code, because it's the same principles to bring scalability and efficiency to DevOps. Really what it means is it's provisioning and managing your infrastructure using configuration files or code in an automated way. And before infrastructure as code became the industry standard, defining and deployment of infrastructure was painstaking. It was a manual process involving setting up servers, configuring network structures, defining security rules, gateways, subnets, and a lot of other items, and then bringing it all together in a cohesive system, sort of trying to do that plug and play model, if you will. And really, multiple teams were running infrastructure deployment, a lot of finger pointing, possibly human error, tedious maintenance, extending timelines. We know all of the issues and items that you had to deal with. But really what infrastructure as code does is removes many of the inefficiencies from the system. And that's why we think it's important to look at this as you're developing your back offices or your compliance teams or your distribution models or your data and analytics. Creation and maintenance of the infrastructure became a small step rather than just going in head first, developing something over the course of 18 months to 3 years. And by the time you had it built, it was sort of obsolete. So, it's a crucial pillar that, again, aligns DevOps, security, and compliance, and enables your organization to sort of shift left of security in the development pipeline. And it also helps, decrease the security posture drifts, if you will. Some of the benefits, you have visibility with regards to, infrastructure as code can be a template. serves as a very clear reference of what resources are in your accounts, what their settings are. You don't have to navigate as much. Then you have stability. Changing the wrong setting or deleting the wrong resource on the web a lot of times breaks things down. You have scalability, where you can write it once, then reuse it multiple times over and over, as many times as you want. We just hit upon security with regards to giving you a unified template on how you deploy your architecture. And then lastly, it's transaction, right? So CloudFormation not only creates resources on, in this case, an AWS account, but also to stabilize while they're starting. So it verifies the provisioning that it was successful. And if there is a failure, you can just gracefully go back and look at the infrastructure to get sort of a good vision of what was happening. Just before I get into the case studies that we're going to discuss today, some of the challenges and feature solutions that we see at SoftServe and that we're working with AWS are things such as high risk, low cost efficiency in your data management, right? So organizations are leaning on data insights more than ever, of course, especially after COVID pandemic, which has really skyrocketed the value of data even higher as it guides your business, guides governments, health professionals, of course, right now. So leaders can be assured that even in an uneven recovery, if you will, from the pandemic, they'll still need to answer a lot of different questions as they work to secure their organization's financial footing and really look for new areas or sources of growth, if you will. So, where are some of those areas? Well, you have to ask yourself a lot of questions, and this requires a lot of the data and know how to use it effectively. Businesses will need to model the information from more and more sources. They'll need to apply insights over more and more channels, and quite frankly, continuously do this, ensuring that the data that you're utilizing is clean and privacy is protected and compliance responsibilities are met. A couple other challenges in future solutions here. We see new customers that need to create new business stream with an AI-enabled and accurate personalized offerings. You can see some of the future solutions that we've thought of, but quite frankly, it's really at the end of the day, it's to meet industry expectations. That's why we're doing a lot of this work with financial services companies in particular. They have to manage data and risk when leveraging advanced technology, from onboarding to gain new insights and deliveries, and quite frankly, really personalized messages, which is what the end customer really wants and expects, quite frankly, today. On the other hand, though, they also need to keep businesses compliant and cost efficient when scaling at new markets and growing new teams, if you will. And then lastly, again, just another business challenge and future solution as you're thinking about your business model and some of the items that we've come across with our clients, if you will. And with that, I'll get into the case studies in particular that are pertaining to infrastructure as code. This particular case study was dealing with one of the largest banks in Spain, as you can see, customer-centric global financial services firm that has been around since, quite frankly, before the 1900s. That's about as much information as I can give you. Strong leadership positions in the European markets as well as Mexico and some other South American companies, and just a very large firm. So when we think about what the business challenge was, really it was to digitize its enterprise data quality business, which would allow it to access a new portfolio and a valuable market and improve their user experience. And the EDQ business is of course one of the fastest growing markets where price accuracy is essential for, in this case, institutional customers. So the bank current asset calibration was manual, and it left traders with limited response time, quite frankly, to provide accurate data, the core needs of its customers. And the completion of this EDQ digitization plan would allow the bank to be faster, be more precise, increase touch points with its customers, and it allows the bank to forecast the project, allow it to incrementally generate additional revenue on the annual basis and reduce CapEx and OPEX costs, if you will. As part of the plan, the bank needed to define the best pilot candidate to begin the transformation and a pricing platform for the calibration of market data and to the price products faster for a greater number of equities was selected as sort of the pioneer platform for this purpose. It would be reasonable to think that the equities, therefore, was a feasible analysis, was conducted to procure the optimal solution to cover functional and non-functional requirements, including government, security, and DevOps. So the project description was the bank chose AWS Cloud here as its primary hosting provider for its application and contains process equities data due to its elasticity and computational capacity. And where we came in is we helped design an architecture to meet all of the bank's requirements and implement it from scratch. And basically we did this by following AWS best practices and the infrastructure as code approach, as well as integrating the infrastructure into the bank services. The bank and SoftServe collaborated to design an application that satisfied business goals, could be rapidly onboarded, provided a standardized, quick, and automated way of delivering new features, and again, to reduce time to market, which ultimately is what every company in the financial services market is trying to do today. And as part of the initial pilot project for platform digitalization, SoftServe and the bank created a complete deployment pipeline for the newly developed financial microservices. And this application was designed as cloud native to leverage all the benefits of the public clouds and AWS managed services specifically. SoftServe faced and quite frankly overcame several challenges during the project, including ensuring high security standards, again, which is predominant in our marketplace, while working with financial data, providing high availability and high quality for the end users. So what was the value that was delivered? At the end of the day, it was leveraging our partnership with AWS and their managed services on an infrastructure as code principles. SoftServe, we delivered a robust, secure, highly available, scalable, and maintainable platform. And we were successful in integrating the platform with the bank's existing infrastructure and third-party services from other remote providers. This platform was implemented with additional features, including hardened security, logging capabilities, the ability to monitor all components of a workload, and performance optimizations. A well-developed, feature-rich CI/CD implementation allowed the bank to integrate security, code quality, and other checks that followed internal standards before promoting these artifacts to production environments. Any of the lessons that were learned was really that by following the roadmap provided by AWS for product and service use in the project, the bank saved significant time and effort, and this was accomplished through proper planning and reprioritizing the next steps and activities by using the infrastructure as code. Ron, how are we doing on time here?
I would say about maybe 1 or 2 minutes more, right? Summarizing, some of, key capabilities and takeaways, if that's okay, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 2 other case studies that we could cover, and more than happy to share those with Ron that he can pass them out. One is with Semaphone, as you can see here. The other is with a company called To Go Transverse. Just for sake of time, as we continue to move along, I'll skip through this. And looking forward with SoftServe here, we look forward to working with your firms with regards to the experience that we have in these areas, the security that we feature, and the trust. One of the big things is our Net Promoter Score, which is 77. It's all about the quality of work, and especially when you're talking about data quality, you're talking about security, you're talking about compliance, fraud risk. So in closing, what I'd say is, what are the benefits of infrastructure as code? Well, faster speed and consistency, efficient software development lifecycle, reduced management overhead. You could face some challenges such as coding language dependency. That's something that we can help you with, though. Security assessment processes. I just spoke about the bank that we worked with, a large European bank, with regards to security issues. And then, monitoring can be a challenge. One of the things at SoftServe that we do is we consult, we implement, and we maintain. So, I've appreciated the opportunity to speak with the audience here today.